Hey friends, so I wanted to continue my series of the kiln openings, so the seasonal collections I'm doing, and this one I'm hoping to release in October. So it's called Harvest and it's all centered around, as you would guess, harvest and food, and we're growing a load of things in the garden, so we're excited to start eating all the tomatoes and the berries and everything. So I thought it'd be quite a fun, exciting theme to make for the cottages, and then also coming into the autumn, I'm excited to make maybe some pumpkins and some mushroom focused stuff. I think would be really cool. So I've already started making some, and I wanted to just take you along the journey for the rest of the collection. So behind me is some pieces that I've already made that are out of the kiln, so I'll show you those so you can get kind of a sense of the vibe of the collection. And I've got some pieces to hollow and carve this week, so I'll take you along for that as well. So hopefully up here you can see some cottages. So these are some match striker cottages, these smaller ones here on the end, and then these are some tea light ones. I really love this. Is meant to be a nasturtium, so this is a dahlia. I wanted to include some florals which were edible, and I have a fig here. This is some more glazed flowers. So this was meant to be a pansy, so I don't know if you can see so well because of the shine, but I've done some slip trailing on that house, and I've also done some slip trailing on this to make a dahlia. And then I have here a peachy one, strawberry, mushroom. I really like how the mushroom came out actually, and really earthy colours, which is really pretty. Watermelon, tomatoes, berries, and then some more floral ones. So this is a dahlia, cornflower, blueberry, and these are just some more general autumnal ones at the end. And then I've also done some mugs, so a couple of cottage mugs. So the idea is that the roof comes off and you can use that to put your tea bag or like a little cookie or something. This one I really like actually is an artichoke, so I really like that one. And I've got dahlia, strawberry, peach, nasturtium, cherry, and blueberry again. And I really kind of went to town with the handles on these, so I really wanted to kind of make some really cool different style handles than I normally make. And these ones are actually quite comfy to hold, so you can put like your finger through that, and then your other finger can sit in that part, and it's actually quite comfy. And also some kind of bigger style ones so that you can get your most of your fingers through. But yeah, I'm really enjoying these handles. I think I'm going to experiment some more, so let me know if you want me to make a video on how I make all these handles. Actually, they're quite fun to make, and quite easy. So you might be interested in that. Oh yeah, and some cottages here. So these are going to be like a little village. So some strawberries and some dahlias here. So this week I'm going to be finishing off these wax melters. So yesterday I already hollowed these. So I started with a block of clay. I cut off the roof and then hollowed them out. So they're ready for carving tomorrow. And actually today I'm just going to be finishing off these three. So these are actually large incense houses, so a kind of larger version of these basically. So I'm going to take you through me making these ones today. I'm going to be hollowing, and then I'll come back tomorrow and show you how I carve them. So I think that would be quite fun. Okay, so I hope you can see clearly there. So this is about 3 kg of clay that I've wedged up and shaped into a solid block of clay. I then, while it was soft, so this has been sitting out for a couple of days actually, so you can see that it's actually pretty hard. I don't really like to hollow my pieces when the clay is really soft, because it kind of deforms the shape as you hollow it. So if you wait a couple of days until the clay has hardened up, it means you can hollow the clay, but you still kind of maintain the house shape without it kind of bending and buckling and stuff. So I use this kind of paddle. So this is like a butter paddle, which I really like for pottery. So it has a textured side and a smooth side. So I use the smooth side, and I'm just going to kind of reshape the walls a little bit. So patting it on and then just getting a bit more of a sharper edge to the clay, because obviously I did this when this was soft, so now it's harder. I can kind of refine the shape a little bit better. So now I'm just going to use this tool. It's like a teardrop tool that I quite like using the fatter end, so this end, and I'm going to carve underneath that roof to give it a little bit of an overhang. So just taking out just a little bit underneath that roof, just so that you're generating that overhang, just like that. And then just use your finger just to connect that all around the roof so it's sitting kind of proud of that. It's like a little trench underneath the roof. And then I'm just going to blend that into the wall. And then I'm just going to smooth over. So just smoothing all the way down. And then I actually do a little bit of a squeeze of the corner of the house just to, again, sharpen that corner. Yeah, something like that. I'm happy with that. So now we're going to start hollowing. So flip it upside down. So now I'm going to use this angled tool here. And it's this end I'm going to use. I'm going to kind of go in, cutting into the base, about 1 centimetre in from the bottom. So from the edges. I'll do the first one and show you kind of the distance. So it kind of looks like that. So you're cutting in, that's about 1 centimetre from the edge. And then now I'm just going to keep going down layer by layer, taking away all of that clay that is and just leaving that centimetre in the wall. So kind of removing it in layers. And then I switch to this tool that is a little bit, it's more of a straight tool, and that means I can just push it in and you just want to take out strips of clay. So now I'm about halfway down and you can see that the edges have a little bit of these ridges, so I'm just going to clean those up just so that it helps us tomorrow when we come to carving that the surface is nice and smooth. So I'm just going to run that tool up the wall and just kind of smoothing over those ridges. So if I do one, so I've done that one there and I haven't done that one, so you can just see it's just a little bit smoother. Okay, so now you can see that I'm quite far down, nearly down to, I'm about here. So now I'm just going to switch over back to that angled tool. So now I'm wanting to basically follow that taper of the roof in. That is following the edge of the roof, and you want this part to be vertical more or less. And that will make that side slanted, and then you're just going to bring that across. So imagine I'm in the house. You're just going to bring that across and you're just going to get that slanted edge naturally. So it's kind of a bit tricky to see, but I've slanted the edges down at the bottom. And then now I'm just going to take that rounded side of that tool and dig out the excess. Kind of, I don't know if you can see at the bottom, it's just a bit slanted, a bit curved at the bottom, just trying to follow that roof shape best I can. So now I'm happy with it being hollowed. Last step, I'm going to add my chimney to the top. So you just want to get a bit of a ball of soft clay. And I'm just going to roll it out into a little bit of a cylinder, kind of a chimney sized piece. And then I just dip the bottom in water, place it in the middle where I want my chimney to be. And then I'm just going to push it down and then just give it a bit of a squash down basically. And the minute it kind of stops letting you rotate it on the roof, you know it's got a good seal. And then I just use my finger and just smooth the edges into the roof. And then just get a sponge and just really smooth over where you've joined that chimney. Again, I'm going to carve this tomorrow, so it's not like, you just want to have it generally in the place you want it. You don't need to make it neat because we're going to be coming to make it look much prettier than this. I always think at this stage they look really ugly, but I know that, yeah, they're just going to be so much better when I actually come and carve all the details in. So you have to have faith at this stage. So now I'm just getting any pointed tool. I actually just use my diamond core tool because they have a nice pointed edge, but really anything like a pencil you can use. Dip that end in water, and then you're just going to poke through that chimney, rotating as you go. And that's going to basically make it into a chimney. It's going to have a through hole. And then I use my finger just to smooth over that edge with water. So hopefully you can see in the middle there's a hole. So that's going to let the incense come out. And that's basically the first step of hollowing. So I'm going to let this one dry. Overnight in summer is good. In winter I have to take them into the house to dry if I want to carve them the next day. But just, I guess, a little bit before leather hard stage or at leather hard stage is a good kind of hardness to carve them at. But I'll show you that anyway when I come to do it. So I'll see you tomorrow. So we're back, it's the next day, and the house is pretty dry, ready for its second carving. You can see that I've already started on some other ones, so carnage here. So I'll just show you these are the wax melters that I've already done. And I've just got a couple of houses left. So the incense house is going to look something like this, and I'm going to show you how I carve it here. So for the carving, I like to use a scalpel. This is just a regular disposable scalpel, but you can just use any knife. And this curved tool. So it's got a curved end on that side, and that side, just one's a bit smaller. Each side, so one is serrated and one's smooth, but you can use both sides for this. So I first start by cutting the bottom. So with the scalpel, I actually take away probably about half of that weight in the bottom kind of thickness of the wall. So it gives me a guide of how thin to carve the rest of the walls. So I usually do this with a scalpel. It's going to be a little bit tricky for me to show you, but hopefully you can see when I'm carving this. So being careful around the corner, taking that scalpel in. Sorry, I just don't want to block the view. And then slowing down again when I get to that corner and going around that corner. It's very easy to slip and cut through the corner, which is really annoying. And then again, taking that weight off down the edge. So if you compare this side to that side, I'm more or less taking about half away. Sorry, I've just done the rest away from the camera just so it's a little bit easier for me, but we're just looking at thinning out that bottom section. So now it's ready for carving. So I usually just run a sponge just over the outside, just to smooth over any lumps and bumps. Don't worry about the roof because I'm going to come and carve the roof, so I don't really care too much about making that smooth to start with. But yeah, just roughly smoothing the outside. And I also just tap that bottom part down just in case there is any unevenness in the base. You want to just make sure that is kind of flush with the surface of whatever it's going to be on. This is where that curved tool comes in. And I first run it over here, this side, just to start to smooth that edge down into the wall. So hopefully you can see that. It's a little bit tricky to show. So you can hopefully see there, that side, I've started to smooth that down. And now I'm just going to take that bigger end and run that along the wall, using my hand on the outside as a bit of a guide so that I know when it gets really thin, I'll start to feel that tool against my hand and I know to ease off that section a little bit. So again, just taking that up. So hopefully you can see on that side, now that wall is much thinner compared to these guys, still quite thick. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but you're just wanting to take the excess weight from the inside so that when we come to cut out the windows and doors, you're not cutting through clay that's really thick. So I'm just going to speed through this now and I'll show you at the end. So I've just finished doing up all of the inside, so it's much lighter now, and hopefully you can see much smoother. I've just run a sponge through the inside, just smoothing off any carving marks. So now I'm doing the chimney. Sorry, I forgot to put on the camera. I've been just working on the chimney. I'm using my P2 diamond core tool and just taking that around the chimney like that, and then I'm going to switch to this tool. It's the I think it's the FP6 diamond core, so fine point diamond core tool, and then I'm going to start to make kind of a little bit of a thatched appearance on the roof. So I'm just going to smooth off this part just so it's not really bumpy. So just carving like basically stripes in the top, just to give a bit more of a thatched appearance. Just on the top there, and now I'm just going to do the sides. So I quite like to do like a bit of a zigzaggy kind of look, so just going in opposite directions on the diagonal. So I'm hoping you can see me do this. Maybe I'll try to make sure my hand's not in the way. Sorry, that's a little bit messy just because of the awkward angle, but you kind of get the vibe, kind of looking a little bit like, kind of looks like tiles almost, like herringbone tiles. So I'm just gonna speed through doing the rest now. So that's the roof all done now. Just give you a little bit of a closer look from the top. And now I'm just going to cut out all the doors and the windows. So I first kind of spin it around and decide which is going to be the front. I usually look for the side that is the most, yeah, so this is going to be the front, so I'm just going to stamp my maker's mark here on the corner. And I'm just now going to use that scalpel for the windows and doors. So I'm going to decide where the door's going to go first. I think I'm going to have it a bit on this side. Just cutting through that. I usually do a bit of an arch on the top of the door and then cut through the bottom. Kind of get a bit of an idea of how, there we go, that size is, and I might adjust it a little bit. It's so much easier to adjust the size once you've got most of it out. You can just run your scalpel along the edge, just neating up the shape. So sticking that scalpel in fully, so it looks like I just poked him in the eye. So that's fully gone in, and when I take that out, that is like a perfect size for that pane, and it means that you can kind of easily make them more or less the same size and shape without thinking really, or measuring, which I would never do. So yeah, then it comes out nice cross window like that. And then for the other ones, I'm just going to make them a square. So I think one here, a little bit lower. I don't like it to be like too symmetrical. I find sometimes they look a little bit too much like faces. It's a bit jarring. And then one down here. Yeah, that's cute. So something like that. Now I'm going to do the back. So for the back, I normally do one cross window again, and then two big squares. But now I'm looking at it, I'm thinking actually 2 windows on the back is actually quite nice. I might just leave it there. Something like that. And on that side. So now I'm just gonna sponge over those windows. It just softens those edges because obviously they have a bit of a rough cut edge. So I just sponge them on both sides. If you're finding they're really messy, I also have used a small paintbrush dipped in water before, and you can really get into each of the edges. I quite like to use that on my porcelain clay because that's quite difficult to clean up. So that's it with the windows cut out, and I'm just going to do the last step, which is putting on a little doorstep. So I just have a bit of clay. So this is just soft clay right out the bag. I shape it into like a little bit of a sausage. So that's going to form the doorstep. And I'm just going to dip one side into some slip I already have made up. So one side has some slip. And hopefully you can see that. Yeah, so I'm just going to place that underneath the door. And just push it down, give it a wiggle just to make sure it's really well attached. And then I just smooth over the edges with my finger, just so that the clay goes over that joint. And then again, I'm just going to push it into the center of the door, just to go over the joint there as well. And then again, just using that sponge and smoothing over that doorstep, just so that it's nice and neat. Taking all my finger in the middle as well, like that. Nice. And that just finishes it off. It kind of makes it look a little bit more lived in, a little bit less blocky. So, and if you just compare it, obviously that one's not fired yet, but if you just compare it to my normal sized ones, it's a bit bigger. So this is 1.5 kg of clay, and that's double, that's 3 kg of clay. So now I'm just going to set this aside to dry out a little bit. I'm going to finish doing my last one, and I'll come back and show you me decorating all the cottages. So I've just been decorating the wax melter cottages, and I decorate them like slightly differently, and I really love them. So this one is like a mix of berries. So yeah, you have some cherries, blueberries, strawberries and raspberries. And this one is, so I wanted to include some more vegetables for the harvest collection. This one's going to be called Three Sisters. So you usually grow corn, beans and pumpkins together. So I thought it'd be quite a cute trio to put on a cottage. And this one is mushrooms, dahlias and sunflowers. And I really like this one too. This is like a whole mix of vegetables, like a proper medley. So we've got some tomatoes, artichoke, radish and carrots. So, oh yeah, and then this is a sunflower carve. So I'm going to be glazing that one and lustering it. This one over here is a Tudor cottage. It's for a customer already. She's ordered that one. So yeah, I'm going to start doing these. It's the next day since I talked to you before, I think. So I didn't actually manage to get around to doing these ones. So I'm going to do these today, and I'll probably show you one of the incense houses. I think I'm going to do a berry one. So let's do that now. I think I've shown this before, but this is how I keep all of my underglazes. You can kind of see the colour on the top, and I decant the underglaze into these kind of tubes. So it just helps me to choose the colours more effectively. So now I'm painting this one with that little berry design. So I first actually just draw out a little bit of a guide, nothing too precious, just so that I know that I'll fit in the design I want. So I'm just going to quickly do that now. So I think I'm going to have maybe some blueberries here coming down, will look cute. So yeah, that's it on all of the sides, and then now I'm going to just select all of the colours. So yeah, I always kind of use the same greens, so I'm going to keep those. So this is the Contemporary, so cherry red. I'll leave a link down below, and some blueberry colours now. Blue, yes, so I have blue here. So this is the Amico Electric Blue, and I also have a bit of a lighter blue, so I just kind of mix it up as I go. Spectrum Sky Blue for the blueberries, and then I use a bit of a purpley colour for the blackberry. So yeah, this nano purple colour, and I kind of can mix that a little bit in with the reds and the blues to get a bit more of a variation of that. And then cherries. So cherry, I kind of use a mix of the red, and then I have this burgundy colour, which is kind of cherry-y. And there is also, yeah, no, I think this mixed with the red. So this is Speedball Burgundy, will look nice. Sorry, did I say this one? Oh, this is one I've mixed up myself. So it's the Nano NC045 possibly. Anyway, I'll link it down below, purple. And I add 10% to white underglaze. And then, yeah, so now I'm just going to start painting them on. So I think I'm going to go for, yeah, why not strawberries? It's a good one to start with. So that pointed brush. And yeah, I'm going to do the red. So these guys are strawberries, so I'm just going to come do like a smush and then I kind of let it go into that point. And I know with underglazes, many people say, oh, you have to do 2 or 3 layers. I never do that. Because I paint when it's kind of green ware, so it's not fired yet. I find just going over it again will make the clay a bit too soggy, and I also don't really have the time to do that. They already take like such a long time to decorate. So I kind of just try to do like a fairly thick layer of the underglaze first time, and I quite like that painterly effect that you get when it's got different layers, different thicknesses. Yeah, so then I don't mind if it's not like a solid block colour. I actually prefer the kind of more organic look of it not being like so perfect, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I actually just go in one layer normally. But I always pick like underglazes that look, at least you can see the colour with one layer. Some of them you can't really make out the colour, so I always test them before I obviously use them and make sure I'm picking ones that you can kind of see the colour with one layer. So I'll kind of show you with this red. Can you see? Yeah, so with this red, so that's what it looks like with glaze on that side. This red, you can see it will come out that colour, that's 1 layer and that's 2 layers. So obviously 2 layers is a lot thicker, but you still get a decent colour with the 1 layer. And then sometimes you can go like over it just a tad if you really want, just to intensify that colour, but I don't normally do that. And so even though I say only do 1 layer, I'm really doing probably 2, because I'm kind of going over it, mixing the colours, and you're getting areas where there is a little bit more colour. And I'm outlining them at the end, so it might look a little bit messy at this point, but it kind of crisps up with the outline I'll do at the end. And then going for the blueberries, maybe a bit more of the darker as well. Yeah, that does look nice. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, blueberry done. I'm gonna keep the darker colour out to mix up with the, so I'm gonna use the purple, and I'm just adding a little bit of that purple in with the blue. So kind of just mixing those 2 colours up again. So I'm getting more of a dark bluey purple. Hopefully it looks more blackberry-y. So going in. And then now I'm going to do the blossom. So I just usually do white, because for most berry blossom it's white. And that's with all of the white on. So for the leaves, I do this one for the lighter colour. It's a stain, so it's called Nano NC02 something, as it's rubbed off, cactus. I'll just leave it linked down below, but I add 10% into white underglaze. And this is gonna form kind of the majority of the leaves, and then I'll come in with a darker green for the background, for the outline. So I'm using that more angled brush. I quite like this one because it kind of easily draws on leaves for you. Don't really have to think about it too much. Nice. Perfect. And then now I'm going to go in with that darker green with that more pointy brush. And this one is Amico Blue Green, so it has a bit of a blue tone in it. It's more of a teal, which is a little bit of an unnatural colour, but I quite like it if I have a bit of blue in the design, because it kind of just melds a little bit of that blue, so it doesn't look too standy out. It kind of all looks like it goes together. So now I'm just going to draw the outline of those leaves, and then I do add a few darker leaves in just to adapt that design a tad. So here I'm just kind of doing the outline of the flowers. Hopefully you can see I'm just kind of going around each of those petals. Yeah, I quite like this Amico Cinnamon. It's pretty dark brown, but it still has that warm tone compared to using a black. I don't really like using a black, so I'm going to first do, I think I'll first do the browns actually. So so these are blueberries, so I'm just going to do a bit of a stalk cross. So that's all of the painting done. Just have a little look, and now I'm just going to carve in a few details. So for the strawberries, I'm going to carve in some of the seeds on the outside. So this is a FP2. This is like an FP2 diamond core tool, so it has like a fine point on the end, which is good for Sgraffito or doing these kind of more detailed carvings. Individual berries of the blackberries with this FP6 tool. So hopefully it's okay. So just taking out individual berries. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Oh, I think that's finished now. Took a while. So so that is the finished piece. So I like doing the outlines and the carvings. I just think it adds a lot of like dimension to it. So happy with how this turned out. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they look as good after firing. So I just wanted to give a little update on the cottages. I really love these designs. I'm so happy it's kind of what I had in my head has come out with the design, so yay. So I'll just show you quickly. I'm glazing today, but I'm really pushed for time, so I don't think I can film it, but I'll definitely show you once they're out of the kiln. So this one is a little veggie number. Then this one is really cool, a little citrus boy. And I've carved in like the little puckering or the kind of the skin of the citrus fruit. Dahlias. This one's really cool, mushrooms. Very autumnal vibes. Sunflower, this one came out really pretty. And then I really like this one of my favorites, the berry one. Then this is like a Three Sisters one. They're 3 different vegetables that they grow together. And this is actually a custom order, a Tudor house. And then I have some sunflower ones that I'm going to glaze and luster. And then these are the large incense. So I have berry, citrus, and fruit tree really. And then I wanted to do like a little bouquet. So this is like of sunflowers and dahlias. These cottages in the kiln. Sorry I didn't show me actually glazing them, but they're just going to be filling up the bottom layer, just glazing the roofs. And these ones are going to go in now. Hey friends, so I've just unloaded the kiln and I just wanted to show you all the pieces now that they're out of the kiln, and I'm really happy with them actually. I think this is like one of my favourite unloadings, so I'll show you now. So the studio is actually a bit packed at the moment. I've been doing some wheel throwing for my kiln opening as well, with some very big vases. So I just have the unloaded pots on the wheel here. So this is how they turned out. We have the Three Sisters here, mushrooms. This is like a fruit tree one. This is the berry one. I really liked this one. And then sunflowers. And on the back, that's the veggie one. Then these are some of the straight up glazed ones. So I'm gonna luster some decoration on these. So these are meant to be sunflowers. And this is a dahlia. This is a Tudor one. This is a pre-order actually for someone's birthday, which is lovely. And then this is, yeah, sunflower as well. And then I have some of the larger cottages there. So berry, this was a really nice bouquet one. So I wanted to make it look like it was a bouquet of flowers. And I have another fruit tree behind this one there. So yeah, I love this collection so far. It's been really nice to try a lot of different things. So I've never included fruit or vegetables or anything like that in my designs, but I really, really love it, especially like how they turned out. So I might just take you through some of the other pieces. I won't have time to actually show you them finished, but this one, these ones I'm gonna make into berry bowls. Let me know if you'd like a tutorial on that. I was gonna film one, but I thought I would just make them start to finish and then film it if you guys would like that. And this is going to be hopefully a mushroom pot. So this is the bottom, and then this is going to form the lid and I'm going to try to trim that into a bit more of a mushroom shape. And then these are a lot of vases that I'm just going to decorate similar to these ones. I'm thinking the berry, some more vegetable ones would be lovely, and then probably the sunflowers and dahlias would be great as well on these kind of large vases. And then I did some cute bud vases. This one got a big knot but yeah, more these round ones I love. And I thought I could also use them as diffuser holders as well, depending on what people wanted to use them for. And lastly, I'm trialing out making a mushroom wax melter. So this is for the wax melts to sit in, that goes on that. And then I've thrown a couple of mushroom lids that will then go upside down on the top. And I'm going to cut a load of holes, like a toadstool has spots. I'm going to cut a load of holes in the top of those so that the scent can get released. So I hope you enjoyed that little roundup of the harvest collection. So all of those finished pieces, they'll be going live on the website at on the 6th of October, which is the first Sunday at 3 p.m. BST time. So if you're interested in any of the pieces, had your eye on anything, they'll all be going up on the website then. I'll leave all the details linked down below. You can join my mailing list if you're interested in kind of not missing out on those kiln openings. And also, if you just wanted to have a little browse of how all these wheel thrown pieces are going to turn out, they'll all be up there, so you can have a little look anyway. Even if you don't want to get anything, it'd be just nice just to have you guys follow along. And yeah, so the next video, I think I'm going to be making some porcelain pumpkins, which I'm really excited about. I'm just going to do the trial runs today, so I'm going to be throwing some pumpkins, and then hopefully if it all works out, the next video will be a little tutorial on that, and hopefully that will go up before Halloween. So yeah, I'm trying to get ready for the spooky season. So yeah, I'm really excited to do those. Actually, it's a little bit different, so I'm excited to make some like little pumpkin inspired incense cottages. I think that would be really cute. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. So until next time, bye.